Hi everyone, hope you're well. Today we're joined by Juliet English, who's going to be telling us all about the Learn Free conference, which is happening at the end of the month. So welcome, Juliet.
Good morning, Joe. I'm just sorry. I'm a bit annoyed by my virtual background. It's doing weird things with my hair. It's quite distracting. So I hope it doesn't bother anybody else.
It's cool. It's better than mine. I've just got
It's
a blank,
better than my
boring
actual
wall.
background because I've got a very, very yellow wall behind me otherwise. So
I don't even
yeah.
know how to do a virtual background on here. I need to investigate that one. Right, so let's start then by, can you tell us a little bit about how Learn Free came about and why you set it up all those years ago, 10 years ago?
Yeah. Well, I'll give you a bit of my whole story if that's okay, because
Yes.
I think it's all part of it. So I started home educating back in 1998. I've got 7 children. My oldest is now 32 this year, I think, 33 this year, actually. Sorry. And she was in school, and very lovely school that we'd carefully picked out for her in South Africa. You could pick out a school. You didn't have to go where you were told. And really nice school. And then, but there were a few little issues, little niggles. But crunch time came for us when she came home from school one day and said, "I'm stupid." And like as a mum, that's like the one thing you don't want to hear your child say, and you immediately want to investigate it. So we kind of had a conversation, and I tried to get to the bottom of it. It came down to her maths class. So I had a chat with that teacher. They didn't seem to think there was really a problem, but I could just see that my daughter's confidence was really, being undermined by just feeling stupid, and I realized at some point that actually all she'd been doing in class was guessing. And in her mind, at the age of 7, she thought if you were clever and you guessed, you were right. And if you were stupid, you guessed and you were wrong. And that was all there was to it. So that was a bit later on that I realized that this was what was going on. So we tried working with the school. There were a couple of other issues. And at some point, we realized, look, they're not going to change anything for us. And so we made the decision to home educate. And then we had 2 younger children, kind of preschool age, and we just decided that's it. We're going to go for it. And sort of started out very structured, trying to do the whole curriculum thing. And over the years, with lots of change and disruption, 7 children now, we kind of like abandoned so much of that and became far more self-directed. And there were years where things went quite badly, and I sort of felt like I was failing my kids, but actually they did really well in spite of me. And so I'm now like a firm advocate of self-directed education. And I know that children can do perfectly well with just a little bit of support from the adults in their lives. So that was kind of where I came from. And then we moved to the UK in 2007, and that threw us a little bit. That was quite a difficult move. I had teenagers, they weren't coping, I wasn't coping, and my confidence was also sort of broken down. And when I kind of emerged from that and got to a point where I sort of decided to pull up my socks and get on with it, put on my big girl knickers, as they like to say, I just thought, actually, I know that there's so many people that are in this place of fear and worry and anxiety around educating their children. And actually, it need not be that way. And I decided to hold a conference to just bring in some speakers to speak a bit of, the word encourage means to speak courage into. And I wanted to speak courage into parents, particularly to empower parents to educate their children. And I've always spoken about educating with boldness and freedom, because I think that freedom is a state of mind. It's a you operate within a you take away these worries and fears and anxieties that all work against any kind of flexibility and instinct that you might have around educating your children. And boldness was actually about just not being afraid, not being being able to walk out and not worry if people question you, and just feeling really confident in your decision to educate your own children, reviewing it as a very positive option. And so I had the first conference, which was a really small little affair in a little church hall, and that sort of had about 100 people, which we were terribly excited about. I think I pulled it together in about 6 weeks. and managed to get that. And then we just decided to carry on every year. And I'm part of a big home education group here, and the volunteers were all drawn from that group. They all helped serve tea, coffee, did registration, and it just became a really, really nice, friendly event. And of course, then we were on track to do that again in 2020. The event was growing, and we had to go virtual. So we did it completely virtually using an app, and we were able to get international speakers so Peter Gray spoke at that conference. And then we had a couple other international speakers. And then in 2021, we had even more international speakers, a few more international attendees. And so this year we decided to carry on with the virtual format simply because we can actually have people from all over the world, and you can join from wherever. We've had people say they were so thankful that because of the virtual format, because they would never been able to attend the live event. And we try and replicate the feeling of the live event as much as possible. So we try and have sort of community forums where you can go and have conversations around the conference and meet up and connect with people that you might not have otherwise. And we try and we encourage, we have exhibitors so they can come and share their resources. And we encourage them to also set up their own virtual sessions within the conference if they want to have that contact with people and answer their questions. And this year I've got another feature, which is going to be little networking tables. So at lunchtime, you can go and join a table, which would discuss some topic which might be of interest to you, such as special educational needs or secondary and exams. And you can go there and just meet other people and have a little chat around the subject. And we have a couple of the mums who volunteer and run a coffee session in the morning before the start of day, and just kind of get everybody in the mood. And so lots of those little things we try and do so that there's more connection. You're not just going into a Zoom and listening to someone speak. You actually can meet people in as close to a live event as what we can manage virtually. So it's still not a huge event. It's not like the big American events, but we are growing a community, and we just really hope to attract as many home educators as possible, because I think the message of the conference is an amazing one. We aim to equip, empower, encourage, and enable parents to educate their children. So if any parents are in doubt or have concerns or worries around home education, and even if you're a confident home educator, it's just a great place to hang out and talk to like-minded people. So,
yeah. What if you were not home educating? Would it still be of interest, like if the likes of Peter Gray are speaking?
Yeah, well, we have Peter Gray as a keynote speaker, and I know he's highly sought after. As a speaker, people really love to hear him, and I believe he's worth the ticket price alone. And there are speakers. We'll have Ian Cunningham from the Self-Managed Learning Center. Is that called Self-Managed Learning?
Yeah. No, college.
College. Yes,
college,
yes. So we'll have Ian Cunningham, and so we will have people talking about the political situation that we are facing, which doesn't actually only affect home educators. It affects children that the system is harming, and where parents have no choice but to take their kids out. And the government has just now announced that they're going to be looking at the the Schools Act, and a register for home educators. And I think it's about parental empowerment, and we all need to be empowered, whether our children are in school or not, or whether we, if we are in the industry of providing self-directed education. I think there's a lot to gain. I really believe that home educators are actually really at the coal face of almost of learning how children learn. More than, because we're actually just so actively involved, and we're having to innovate all the time to meet the needs of our children. And we've all got different children, and they all have different needs. So I think home educators have a lot to share in terms of just thinking around learning and how children learn. So yeah, I would say, and one of the things I'm really keen to do is to connect people who are doing research
Yeah.
into education and how children learn. So at the conference, I'm hoping that some of the researchers will connect and get talking and look at areas where they could maybe do where research is needed, um, to kind of just support our cause.
Have you got some researchers speaking?
Yes, now I've got to go and find my list. But Sarah Gilly is one. Uh, and don't ask me exactly what her research is about right now, because I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. Harriet Pattison,
Yes.
who did all that research in how children learn to read. Let me see, Joe Merritt is another one.
Mhm.
Um, I'm actually looking at the list here. There's a few from America as well that have done research. So, yeah, there will be people who are doing research already and or thinking about it.
That would be
Um,
interesting.
yeah, yeah, I think it will be.
So you've got Peter Gray as the keynote.
Yes,
Who else?
Naomi Fisher.
Fantastic.
I love Naomi.
Yeah, she's
She is
brilliant.
such a strong advocate for children, learning outside of the system, and a home educator herself, and a psychologist, and she just brings so much wisdom and careful thought into the conversation. Um, yeah, so she's somebody I really enjoy. Last year we had Alberta Stevens, who many might not have heard of. She's from Homegrown Sunshine, but boy, is she a firecracker. Yeah, just
What's
really enjoy
Homegrown Sunshine?
Homegrown Sunshine with a SON in the sunshine. Um, I'm not quite sure if that's because she has a son or any other reason, but Alberta is fantastic to listen to. She speaks into the situation of raising a black child in an urban environment. Um, and sort of boldly, and just, I mean, she was one of my highlights last year. Absolutely loved listening to her. um, I'm going to have a look. So we will also have some conversations on, working with local authorities in your area. We will have an occupational therapist talking about, how children having issues with sensory processing, how parent, empowering those parents. And then we will also have Ortal Green, who's in your group actually,
Mhm.
and she is totally passionate about design thinking and creative thinking, and raising innovative children to be innovative in their thinking. And I'm quite excited about that one too. So if Ortal's watching, just say thanks for signing up, because I think that's great. And I've still got a few more speakers I've got to add there. I haven't. We normally have like we have a few of the dads who will sometimes run a session and just talk to those who are the men that are home educating their children, which is, I think, always encouraging, because we tend to be talking to mums so much of the time. Yeah. And we will have quite a lot of exhibitors. Some of the exhibitors are home educators themselves who are innovating and coming up with support and resources that home educators can use. And some of them will have giveaways and promotional offers. So yeah, there'll be quite a bit going on actually. I'm still trying
Sounds
to.
brilliant.
There's a
So
lot
is
to
it 4
organize.
days? 4 days.
Yes, so we're going to start on Friday, the 27th of May,
Yeah.
and that will be, we'll have an introduction with me, and you will have Peter Gray at 3 p.m. in the UK.
Hmm.
Um, and then we'll have a couple of evening sessions. So basically, I mean, it's jam packed. It's jam packed. There's literally like 10 sessions a day. So there'd be 4 in the morning. So then we double up you. So you've got a choice. So if you don't want to listen to that person, you can go listen to the other one. So we have 4 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, and 2 in the evening. So and they're always stuck 2 in the same slot. Everything will be recorded. So if you want to be in one, but you also want to be in the other, you can catch that up, later.
Yeah.
And you will have access to that for 6 months. So the early bird ended yesterday, which was, so the ticket price is £25. The early bird price was £20. It's ended yesterday. But I actually can offer, for anyone who's listening carefully enough, I can offer you a discount code to get 10% off. And if that's going to, can I put that in the comments and will that show up?
I don't think we can comment from this end. We'll have to go into Facebook afterwards and put it in the comments.
So that is LF promo 22. So that's LF for Learn Free, promo 22. I'm going to just confirm that because I never trust my own brain these days. I've got far too much going on in there. So just bear with me while I check that. But that will give you 10% off. And as I said, with the quality of the speakers we've got this year, I really think that's really good value. We try and keep the price affordable because we are quite a small, low budget affair. And we just mainly aim to cover our costs. And we, of course, have expenses like, so, paying for the software and those sorts of things that we have to do, even though it's virtual, we kind of keep it as low as we can. So that promotional code is LF promo 22.
Brilliant.
And we can put that in the chat, comments later. So anybody who's watching, they will get the benefit of that discount code. So.
Great. Thank you so much. Do people need to register quite far in advance or can they still do it on
the
day?
No, unless they wanted the early bird, in which case they should have done that yesterday. But I normally allow people to register right throughout the conference. So even because they will still have access to all the content for 6 months afterwards. So they can, the promotional code will apply till the end of May. So the conference ends on the 31st of May. I wanted to also just say, so we have the Friday afternoon, the Saturday. Sunday, we kind of take a break, and sometimes I post sort of videos, pre-recorded things, just for those who really need their fix. And then we go on Monday, Tuesday, and then that's it. But they can use the promotional code throughout. And I would prefer it, obviously, if people register before, because I have to sort of manually add them to the conference pages once they're so if they can make my life easier and not wait till the middle of the conference to do that, that would help me tremendously. So
sounds sensible. Great. It sounds amazing. Well done. It also sounds like a lot of work, so well done you.
It is a lot of work, and just delighted to have members from this group joining us this year and opening up my world. These are the nicest people you can ever meet. People who either home educate or are interested in learning, interested in children and play and, unschooling. They really are the most amazing thinkers, and I really enjoy meeting everybody and just bringing them in and introducing them to the wider community.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Is there anything we've missed? Anything else you'd like to say?
I think I've covered everything. It's been, I'm just trying to think. Yeah. So, the website, that would be good. So the website is learnfree.org.uk. learnfree.org.uk, and you can just pop along there, book your ticket, use your promotional code. If you forget it, come back to me or ask me and I'll remind you. I don't mind. But yeah, we'd really love to see more people come along. And actually, I would really welcome it if people would share about the conference, because I'm limited as to where I can share it. I do the best I can and promote as far as I can, but it's quite difficult. And it's such an amazing event for parents, particularly, and for people thinking about education. It is an amazing event, and I don't really want anyone to miss it. So if you can share it in your groups and forums everywhere, that would be so appreciated. Because I'm a bit like Joe. I am it. So I have to do the social media. I have to set up the conference and the speakers and the exhibitors. And I am it. So it's a lot of hard work. So the more you can share for me, the more you help me. And there's a cool video on the Facebook page. So if you go onto the Learn Free Conference Facebook page, I made a cute little 1-minute video that you can share, which kind of sums it up.
Great, thank you. And we'll put the website in the comments after this, and let's put that video from Facebook in there as well. We can link to it.
Okay, brilliant. Great. Thank you, Jo.
Great. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here, and all the best with it, and hopefully see you there.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you, everyone, for watching.
Thank you.
Keep in touch. Bye-bye.